We'll get some more insight on this tournament. Tiger Woods is right at the top of the leaderboard on day number 1, which is a good sign. He is currently 3 back of Paul Casey, -4 through 15. So he's going to finish likely in the top 5 by the end of the day here. Cam Rodgers from the Bleav Podcast Network, Tiger Woods. We'll take a closer look at how important this tournament is for Tiger after coming off of a win last year, and so much more on this tournament with Cam right now on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Welcome back, Cam. How are you?
Mike, great to chat with you, sir. It is weird to talk about the Masters in November, but you know what? It's 2020. We're here to adapt, and it's fun.
It is, man, and I got to be honest, with like only football going on, having this event now, I think it could get lost in the sauce a little over the weekend, but having it Thursday, Friday definitely feels kind of cool. I mean, we're looking at a live picture right now, blue skies, just a beautiful, picturesque day down there. But let's start with Tiger, 4 under. How did you think he started this day, and what does how he started this day tell you about where this tournament could go for him?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This could be another special week for Tiger Woods. Now, we are used to him actually having pretty slow starts at the Masters. You know, his victory last year, he was only 2 under par after the first round. And here we are. He could actually, if he finishes at 5 under, break a record for himself in terms of lowest opening round at the Masters. So that would be something in terms of momentum. Look, Augusta National right now is a damp, soggy, soft golf course. What does that mean? Not a lot of roll off the tee. That's okay, because the greens are extremely receptive right now. I mean, guys are just throwing darts at these flags, and the ball is not rolling whatsoever. It's sticking right there. So you're seeing plenty of eagles, plenty of birdies. Tiger Woods very much a part of that conversation. He's hitting the fairways he needs to hit. He's hitting greens at an incredible rate right now, 80% in terms of greens and regulation. So he's doing everything he needs to do in this opening round to set himself up for perhaps, and I don't want to get out crazy here, but maybe a special weekend.
Cam Rodgers is host of the Tiger Woods podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. And I want to, you look at what you expect from him moving forward. The start kind of tells you that. But how big would this be if he was in play? Meaning, we just said it could get lost in the sauce with football going on at the same time. But we were opening the show with Tiger Woods has that drawing power. Does he have enough drawing power at this stage of his career to maybe chip into a football Saturday or Sunday?
We're going to find out, isn't that right? We have college football and the NFL to battle with as golf fans. So it's going to be really interesting to see, A, if Tiger Woods is in contention this weekend, and then B, see those ratings come Monday and Tuesday, NFL compared to the PGA Tour and the Masters this week. Here's the deal. CBS is only doing NFL games in that 4 o'clock hour, right? So you're only competing with the Fox NFL games on Sunday during that 1 o'clock window. So that's something to ponder. The plan is to get the Masters finished by 3 o'clock. So that's some of the logistics that are in play here. But as far as Tiger Woods is concerned, he moves the needle in the game of golf. I mean, he is the game. That's why I have a show dedicated to him. And so if he is in the hunt on Saturday, on Sunday, he very much will garner some eyeballs. The amount, I'm not exactly sure. And it could be less compared to last year because, it was Tiger's big breakthrough. It was April, not a lot of sports going on. But still, he's going to bring a lot of interest this weekend. I think no LSU Alabama could help. I think that was a late game anyway, but just something to think about there. Some other college football games canceled too. My Maryland Terrapins not in action this weekend against Ohio State. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting study, no doubt.
Right now, Tiger 4 under. Paul Casey leads at 7 under. Cam Rodgers is host of the Tiger Woods podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. And what about right now, day 1, 7 under, Casey? Does that tell a story at all, or is this just day 1 and we expect a lot of movement?
No, I think we're going to see a lot of low scoring throughout the week here, Mike. Like I mentioned, receptive greens, a damp golf course. This isn't like the British Open, wind howling and very dry conditions. That's actually what we thought was going to be the case this week because, November, and even though it's in Georgia, it was supposed to be like 60 degrees and dry. But It's unseasonably warm there, and we talked about the rain. So we're going to see a lot of scoring this week. Perhaps not a 20-under winner, but we could see somewhere around 16, 17 under to the winner on Sunday afternoon. Paul Casey has a beautiful resume at this tournament. He missed the cut last year, but the years prior, he was racking up top 15 finishes. So he's a guy to watch. Webb Simpson, Hideki Matsuyama, these guys have been there, done that in terms of winning on the PGA Tour, and in the case of Simpson, winning a major championship. So the Masters always brings a chalky leaderboard, to use a betting phrase. All the favorites typically rise to the top, and we're starting to see that already.
Who surprised you the most to this point?
Well, I think Bryson DeChambeau is an interesting study right now. He's 1 under par. He's kind of trying to save his round, and he had a brutal start. And this was the concern about his game, the favorite going into this week. But still, if he swings so hard, and he typically does, he's going to run the risk of spraying the golf ball all over the golf course. And so, yeah, sometimes it works, kind of like at the U.S. Open where he won, but sometimes he can be in the woods for half his round. And I think that's the risk you take when you swing like Bryson DeChambeau does. And so, look, 1 under par, he's fine. But as the favorite, you're expecting a little bit more. And I actually thought that he could, go extremely low in this opening round. So if you're Bryson, you're pretty disappointed right now. But that's what you get out of his game sometimes. It's volatile, right? You can see the good rounds, and then you can see perhaps the missed cuts. I don't think that'll happen for him this week, but it still could happen, say, if he shows up tomorrow and he really struggles.
Cam, there's nobody there, no patrons. Advantage anybody or not a factor?
I would say advantage first-timers and disadvantage for the likes of Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. Tiger even admits it. Like, he feeds off of that crowd, and that's something that I actually did not expect. Tiger is always known as the tunnel vision guy, doesn't really engage with the fans when he's out there and he's playing. But he actually does feed off of the noise and the roars, especially at this tournament. So he's doing okay so far. But with that said, it is an adjustment for some of these guys. But for the first timers, like maybe a Scotty Scheffler, a Colin Morikawa, the reigning PGA champion, these guys can kind of just coast, right? They don't have to worry about the electricity, the intimidating roars on Sunday afternoon. They just play their game and see what happens by the end of that 4th round. So I think, we could see perhaps a first-timer win this week. There's a better chance this week than, say, a typical week during April.
Going back to competing with the NFL, hypothetically, do you think Phil Mickelson would move the needle?
I do, 100%. At his age and the way in which he's playing golf right now, which is not very good if you look away from the Champions Tour. He's tearing up the Champions Tour, but on the PGA Tour, he's not playing all that great. But Phil, certainly, yeah. I mean, you think about the match that we have with Tiger and Phil a lot of times. I mean, there's a reason those two are always involved. And so if Phil Mickelson is in the hunt on Sunday, I think he very much will garner a lot of interest, probably not to the degree of Tiger Woods. How about if both of them are involved, though? That will be a really interesting case study, if you will, in terms of the amount of eyeballs that go to the Masters and then go to, say, the NFL that day as well.
I like Cam Rodgers is host of the Tiger Woods podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. He's joining us with the Masters underway today, all this week. Paul Casey is in the lead, 7 under, and, of course, Tiger is 4 under, so he is within striking distance after one day. You wonder how disastrous it would be, hosting the Tiger Woods podcast so you can speak on this if Tiger didn't make the cut. How of a disastrous would this be for the fall Masters?
Yeah, Tiger doesn't miss the cut at Augusta. He just doesn't. So it would be
You're not even thinking of that.
Devastating if that were to happen. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, there's something about Tiger rolling down Magnolia Lane, regardless of recent form, and still playing solid golf. It doesn't have to be top 10, but I'm talking about a top 30, top 40 finish. I mean, you go back to 2010, for example, guys. Remember the scandal and the long layoff, and he shows up to the Masters, a lot of buzz around him about how his game was going to be. He finishes inside the top 5. 2015, he had the back problems, the chipping yips, which you certainly can't have at this golf course. finishes tied for 17th. So there's something about, that experience that he can really drive off of. That's why sometimes you see the older golfers, i.e. a Lee Westwood right now, toward the top of the leaderboard. Fred Couples for so many years. Bernhard Langer, another example. This course really can cater to the older guard, and I think Tiger Woods, at 44 years old, is drawing off of that.
Why does Jon Rahm's name seem to be so popular this week if you're betting?
Well, maybe it's because I picked him and everybody's talking about him now. No. I mean, look, this guy's got the balanced game, right? I mean, he does everything so well. Driver, irons, short game, and putter. He has the demeanor to win a major championship. And obviously, that big-time highlight, skipping the ball off the water and then actually making it in the hole, obviously will garner some attention on social media and perhaps talk radio as well. So, look, Jon Rahm, I think, is starting to peak. He and Dustin Johnson, from what I understand around the industry, have been getting the most chatter about winning this week. Not Bryson DeChambeau, Jon Rahm or Dustin Johnson, two bombers who have similar games in terms of their short game prowess as well. It all comes down to the putter for them. If they can be tour average this week with their putters, one of them's going to win. And I think Jon Rahm is in great position right now, firing a 69 today. He's tied for 8th as we stand.
By the way, a couple of names. Brooks Koepka is even. Phil Mickelson is even. Bubba Watson is even. One over for Rory. So those are some of the bigger names. Jordan Spieth +2. So those are some of the bigger names that we, are recognized on this first day of the Masters. If there are any other under-the-radar guys, if somebody might want to say, we're in Jersey, put a wager down. Who are some guys that you're intrigued by?
Really love Bubba Watson this week, guys. Two-time Masters champion. He's even as we stand. I thought he was a great value play going for an outright win going into this week. I don't know necessarily what you could play on him right now that the tournament has started, but you could do some live betting for sure. Look, this guy is coming in with really good form. His irons are fantastic. We know he can crush the golf ball off the tee. And there is that narrative, too, that Augusta National can cater to that lefty golfer with that bleeding right-to-left cut that Phil has, that Bubba Watson has, and Mike Weir did it in 2003 as well. So I think Bubba Watson, a really nice dark horse. We haven't talked about him a lot since the PGA Tour restart back in June. People should be talking about him now.
He's Cam Rodgers at Mr. Rodgers99, host of the Tiger Woods podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. You can get that at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Cam, enjoy the Masters in November.
Hey, guys, appreciate it. Chat soon, all right?
All right, we sure will. And if Tigers wins it, that podcast will be a must listen. Tiger Woods podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network.